For many crossdressers and transgender women, the idea of passing as a woman is the ultimate goal. It's a validation of their identity and a sign that they are truly living as their authentic selves. However, is it really a goal worth pursuing? While passing can certainly be a fulfilling experience, it's important to acknowledge that it's not always easy. It can take years of practice to master the subtleties of walking, talking, and presenting yourself as a woman. In some cases, it might even require surgery to be truly passable in all situations. It's also worth noting that unless you plan on living as a woman full-time, becoming 100% passable may not be practical. Rather than getting hung up on passing versus not passing, it might be more helpful to focus on blending in. Blending in means looking feminine and harmonious enough not to stand out in a negative way, even if you aren't 100% passable. Most people don't scrutinize everybody around them, so unless there's something glaringly off about you, you're unlikely to attract a second glance. Does this mean everybody will think you're a cisgender woman? Probably not, but that's okay. The happiest crossdressers and transgender women I know don't care whether they pass or not. They care about being themselves. At the end of the day, the most important thing is to be comfortable in your own skin. If you're constantly worried about whether you're passing, it can be exhausting and take away from the joy of expressing your femininity. Instead of focusing on passing, focus on finding the right environment and presenting yourself well. If you're in a safe and accepting space, you're more likely to feel confident and happy regardless of whether you're passing or not. It's also important to remember that there's no one right way to be a crossdresser or transgender woman. Everyone's journey is unique, and there's no need to compare yourself to others. Embrace your individuality and don't worry about fitting into a specific mold. Ultimately, the most fulfilling experiences come from being true to yourself and finding acceptance within yourself. While passing can be a goal for some, it's not the be-all and end-all of being a crossdresser or transgender woman. Focus on being comfortable in your own skin and expressing yourself authentically, and the rest will fall into place. Passing as a woman can be a fulfilling experience for many crossdressers and transgender women, but it's not a goal that everyone needs to strive for. Instead of getting hung up on passing versus not passing, focus on blending in and finding acceptance within yourself. Embrace your individuality and don't worry about fitting into a specific mold. The most important thing is to be true to yourself and find joy in expressing your femininity. Additionally, it's important to remember that passing as a woman is not the same thing as being a woman. While it's understandable that many crossdressers and transgender women may feel pressure to pass in order to be accepted and validated by society, it's important to recognize that femininity can be expressed in a variety of ways. There's no one way to be a woman, and there's no one way to express femininity. Some women may prefer a more subtle, natural look, while others may enjoy a bolder, more glamorous style. Whatever your personal preferences may be, it's important to embrace them and express yourself authentically. Ultimately, the goal should be to feel comfortable and confident in your own skin, regardless of whether you're passing or not. It's okay to be a work in progress and to embrace the journey of self-discovery and self-expression. In addition to focusing on self-acceptance, it's also important to find supportive communities and allies who can offer guidance, encouragement, and acceptance. Connecting with other crossdressers and transgender women can provide a sense of belonging and help to combat feelings of isolation and stigma. There are many online communities, support groups, and social clubs that cater to crossdressers and transgender individuals. These resources can be invaluable for finding acceptance and validation, as well as for learning tips and tricks for passing and presenting yourself in a way that feels authentic and comfortable. In conclusion, while passing as a woman may be a goal for some crossdressers and transgender women, it's not a requirement for self-expression or self-acceptance. The most important thing is to be true to yourself and find joy in expressing your femininity in a way that feels authentic and comfortable for you. Focus on blending in, finding acceptance within yourself, and connecting with supportive communities and allies who can offer guidance and encouragement along the way. Remember, there's no one way to be a woman, and there's no one way to express femininity. Embrace your individuality and enjoy the journey of self-discovery and self-expression. It's important to note that the pressure to pass can also have negative consequences, such as increased stress and anxiety, as well as potential financial burdens from investing in expensive clothing, makeup, and surgeries. It's okay to take things at your own pace and not feel pressured to conform to societal expectations. If passing is important to you, it's important to remember that it takes time and practice to master all the subtleties of presenting yourself as a woman. This includes learning how to walk, talk, and carry yourself in a way that feels natural and feminine. It may also involve investing in makeup tutorials, wardrobe consulting, or even voice training. However, it's also important to recognize that passing may not always be possible or necessary in all situations. It's okay to embrace a more androgynous or gender non-conforming style if that feels more authentic to you. What's important is that you feel comfortable and confident in your own skin, regardless of how others perceive you. In addition to personal expression, it's also important to consider your safety when presenting yourself as a woman. Unfortunately, crossdressers and transgender individuals are at increased risk of violence and discrimination, especially in public spaces. It's important to be aware of your surroundings and to take precautions, such as avoiding isolated areas and carrying pepper spray or other forms of self-defense if necessary. Ultimately, the most important thing is to be true to yourself and to find joy in expressing your femininity in a way that feels authentic and comfortable for you. Whether you choose to focus on blending in, passing, or embracing a more gender non-conforming style, remember that there's no one right way to be a woman, and your individuality should be celebrated and embraced. We would love to hear your thoughts and feedback on this topic, so please feel free to share your experiences and perspectives in the comments below.